I'm reviewing your work now, so let's take a look. So I'm just going to scrub through, then I'll play it in real time. The one thing I'm curious about is this green, because you're going from a scene to the green, and then you're going from there to your title. So maybe you might need something there, I'm not sure, but let's check the pacing of this. Hello, Christian. Well, you should also focus on assignment 2 rather than, assignment 1, because, assignment 2 is going to be more complex than assignment 1. That's just my 2 cents. Okay, so let me take a look at this real quick. For this part, it would be nice to have some motion, like with the hair or the dress. That could be done pretty easily with Turbulent Displace. Your fades are looking great. And it looks like you're just having hard cuts for the text instead of like an ink dissolve or something like that. That's something I would use to push this. That's just finding the right piece of artwork. I can put some of that up tomorrow for you to review and take a look at. And I would definitely do a fancy alpha matte for the type, like with some of the whatchamacallit, the ink videos that you use for dissolves and alpha mattes. Okay. I see what you said, Christian. Okay. All right. So, like I said, a little bit of motion here will really, really make that pop. Especially if there's like a little bit of fog in the mid-ground back there. But like I said, the hair and the dress, that's pretty easy to do. This is looking good. If there were one thing moving in this scene, it'd really make it pop. Like adding an extra photo, watching how you blend it in, and maybe just have it swing gently back and forth. A little bit of motion will really make that pop. And like I was saying, I think the newspaper used to be there. The newspaper was there. That's what was there. And then using an ink video for the text as an alpha reveal. And once we're done streaming, I'll put up some of those and everyone can take a look at them and see what they want to do with them. But this is coming along pretty nicely. Final scene. I can't think of, like I said, other than the type, something, who knows? It might be neat if this is a separate image or if it's not a separate image, isolating out this dark area and using it as a double exposure, having some type of video or something going on inside there. That'd be pretty nice. But that's my 2 cents. Does that help you out? Okay, we'll pretend this is all one type layer, okay? And I'm going to add in one of those video elements I just sent to you. So, let me see. Let's try, I'm just randomly picking Ink 6 just because it's here. And I'm going to throw that above the text, because remember, the layer above will be the matte. So this is what the video does. And since this has tonal values to it, we're going to use a Luma matte, not an alpha matte. So just remember that. So the matte will be above, the type you select below. Make sure you're in your modes. These are your switches with the little check boxes. Click switches and modes. Now you're in your modes. So the mask goes over your face. That's the ink video. Select the video below it. Go over to your track mats, and we'll choose Luma Matte. And you get a much more interesting thing on. That might actually be too dark. Let's try a different one because, actually, let's try and reverse this. Let's see if that works better. So we'll go time reverse layer. Now the video will play backwards. And there's your fancy animate on for the type. So that's only because that one's going backwards. You could always pick a different one and it'll probably work a little better. Like, let's try ink 2. Put it above there again one more time. Slide it on down. There's the way it animates on. And again, we'll just set this bottom layer to a Luma Matte. Let's try Luma Invert. See if that works better with this type. Yeah, see, the Luma Invert definitely looks better. And we'll just slide that over to where the type is going to pop up. But see, that's only because its layer is a little longer for the text. Now you get your fancy pants animation for the type, like such. Yeah, no problem at all. And also, if you want the missing, like you said, to animate on second, you can, slide down where you want that to, then duplicate your video layer and slide that down like such. And we did a Luma Invert for that one. So for here, we'll set that to a Luma Invert for your ING type. So there goes the fancy that, and then boom, like such. Instant cinematic text. And I kept that little bit of a few frames. So you go miss bloom, hang on it, boom, missing. And then one thing to be careful of here, if you're going to be doing something like this, let me up the resolution. Remember, you change your resolution right here. Let's zoom in a little bit. I hit Command R to pull up my rulers. So it's right there. I'm going off at the bottom of the I, and you can see your ING is a little bit high. So I just hit P for position, and I just moved it down a little bit on the Y. Because the Y is the up and down. Command R to turn that off. Control colon to turn off my guide. And now you're sitting pretty. So, yeah, thank you. And you'll have those files. I'm going to put them in Canvas for everyone. They are already there. They're in your week 2. So you can comb through them, see what works best. Now, we fixed up that. This is all one image. I'm going to duplicate it because we're going to be working with mats. And I'm going to throw an extract on that. And we're going to try and knock out the brighter so it's just the darker values. And here he is right here. So I'm throwing extract on there. And I'm going to hide the one below it so that we can see what we're silhouetting out. I clicked on my checkerboard so I can see the alpha. Here we go. Here's my extract. Let's try the white point. Okay, now you see that disappearing. We're almost in the ballpark of what we want. You could even do a mask at this point around that. So I would say you don't want to start having the man disappear. So we'll say right here. So I did extract and I changed the white point to about 54. And I can then grab my pen tool. I zoomed out a little bit. I really should have hid the text, but we're doing this quick and dirty. just to show that it can be done quick and dirty. Now all that other information's gone. We've got this detective right there, and you could do something like one second. Let's try a light leak. I'll throw that in the Google Drive as well. If it works, we'll see how it looks. So the light leak will go above the duplicate. We'll slide that down. And I'll choose the one we're using for our alpha mat. So right there. Let's see, right? Let me slide that down a little bit. So if we've got our light leak, there's the alpha mat. Let's try a Luma mat. We should. Oh, hold up a second. That's why we're not seeing it. Look what happened there. Let's get rid of that mask. Why is everything invisible? That's weird. I did not expect that to happen. Okay, let's turn off the gradient wipe. That's probably what could have been doing it. That was it. Okay, so we'll turn that off. And once more, I'll go back here. I didn't know there was an animated gradient wipe. Right there, sure. Now I'll do my mask one more time. And this time it will work because I did not realize that was what was happening. All right, so here we go. Good. So we'll go here. And now we'll set that duplicate to I have a feeling that green layer might be mess us up a little bit. Let's test this out. Let me copy this. I'm going to turn off the Luma mat. Go inside. Let's paste it. See, there it is. It is flickering. It is working. It's just that that's what was causing it. So we needed a more severe video for it to work. So don't do the light leak. I was just showing you that because it's a video I had on here. But another video inside the body would work with this technique I showed you. All I did was I duplicated the top layer, the detective. I turned off the gradient wipe, threw extract on, and just, deleted it until I roughly had the shape I wanted, like such. And if need be, you can soften it a little, but I wouldn't really suggest that. So that's that. Hello, Julia. I just emailed you. Yeah, no problem. I will take a look at that in a moment. Okay, so that's that. Like I said, something in there like a double negative type of look, using one of the inks to reveal the type, and adding some motion to this first image. It looks like you're a few frames off here. See that? So I would drag that layer out like such. Now it's always there. And like I said, a little bit of motion will really make that look good. So overall, very nice work. You might also want to consider putting some texture on the type, just so it has a little bit of grit to go with the grimy look and feel of the rest of your animation. Okay, great. You got some motion going on. And you were saying your problem is with the doors on the shuttle. Okay, the first thing I can see is the doors are not parented to the shuttle. As the shuttle's moving about, you can, if they're parented, they'd stay with it. Hopefully the shuttle has an expression on it. Yes, I can tell from the red type. Spectacular. That's a smart way of doing it. So let's do shuttle door left and right, parent them to the shuttle. I selected both at the same time, and I just used the pick whip. Now your doors are perfectly staying with the shuttle. That's step one. Okay. All right, so let's think this through. I held down the middle mouse wheel to get the hand so I can scrub around in the panel like such. All right, so first off, the anchor will need to be over by the side. So you grab the pan behind tool. We'll go snap it to about there, sure. And then this one, we'll want the anchor point there. And you notice that did not mess up anything with the parenting, so we're still good there. I want to try something. Now that's just type. Let's see what this does for the fun of it. Nope, that's not going to do what we want it to do. Okay, we got to make these 3D enabled. They're still moving with the ship. That's good. Because remember, if we have... Let me make sure nothing's selected. Okay. So with rotate, this is what you're going to get with 2D, that type. You're only able to rotate on the one axis. But once we 3D enabled it by choosing the layer for the doors, and in our switches, remember, these are modes. Click switches and modes down here. And I just click the cube for each of those layers. You know, just clicking in there to turn it off and on. Now, let's pretend it takes 1 second for those doors to open. So I'm going to keyframe all of these because I don't know. They'll probably be the Y. But let's go back a little bit. So now I have the doors where I want them. So now I can focus on rotating them. And I'll also add shift and the letter P for position. So we'll go there and we'll snap to there. They need to be. And this needs to move over a little. To about there. Maybe down a little. That's a little too much. Let's try this. So the door is swinging in an opposite direction. So I'm going to try positive 35 instead of negative 35. Now it's opening the right way. So positive and negative will make it flip and swing around. Let's line that back up. Like such. I did not have that keyframed. That's my bad. The door is still swinging in the negative. Let's try negative here. Now it's opening in the right direction. Okay, good. And we could even have the door open up faster and easy ease that. Like such. I mean, that's too fast for outer space, but... Now, right here at the halfway point, it should not be at that angle. That's a bit better. You want it to look like it's on a hinge. Straighten that up a little bit. Better. See? And then you just go do the same thing for the other door. The challenge with this is that it's at an angle and you're dealing with 3D. If it were straight on, it'd be a lot easier. But, you know. Easy's not always the best way of going. Let's say right about there. Now I gotta hold down Shift and hit P to get position. And I'll fix the position of the start point for that because it moved once we did all that rotating. At this point, it's almost making me wonder if it's even worth it for this. Let's hide these. What if we did this? Ping Command Shift A to deselect everything. And I'm loosely following your style, leaving some negative space like you had for some visual interest. Okay. You can do a door that opens up. You could even have a sound effect for it. So I'm going to make this black, and I'm just going to roughly fill in a shape here. Both of these I'm going to parent to the shuttle. So as the shuttle moves, this moves with it. Let's slide these down over the other doors. Okay, so here's what we've got. Like such. Beautiful. This is the door. And this is the shuttle body. Okay, now I think there's a barn door in transitions that might work in this situation. It's not used that often, but this is like one of those instances. I think it's an iris wipe, and then the drop down is barn door. Let's find out. Oops, not that one. Let's do Jaws for a second, because with Jaws, you can do something interesting. I'll show you. You can change the angle of the effect. You can also change the look of it, as well as the height and the width. Like such. Now, this is almost doing everything for us right here. So we would do from 100 to 0. Now we just need to have the rotate in the right direction. You could have it even open diagonally if you wanted. That's following the angle now. And there you've got it. So if I go forward a few frames, click on completion, have it at 100%, go forward a little bit, knock it down to a 0. There you go. Shuttle door opening. The quick and easy way. And then you can have the astronaut come out of there. Like such. That help you out? There is a barn door. It's going to drive me up a wall, but I can't remember where it is. Or they hid it because it's so old. So I'm going to click FX to hide that transition. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the beginning. See, like that. And hide that. I'll throw on barn doors. Show you what that looks like. Does almost the same thing. So I'm going to hit undo and just stick with what we had. Like such. Now, it would be really nice to have some flames add a little bit of life to the rocket. That'd be nice. And let's try that. And we'll make it blue, like such. And I'm going to put it below everything, like such. And I'm going to parent it to the original shuttle, so that as the shuttle moves, the flame moves with it. And we can now add that flame look to it. And a displacement map would work best, but I'm just trying this out. Time asterisk 350 in the evolution. See, that's not going to work for that. Yeah, you would need a displacement map, but that might be something nice to have as a little touch to that. How do I extend the time for... Oh, that's very easy. Okay, so you've got 10 seconds. You want 15 seconds in your timeline. You just go composition, composition settings with the sequence selected that you want to change. So remember, it's hours, minutes, seconds, frames. So you change the 10 to a 15, hit OK. Zoom out. Here's your zoom in, zoom out. And then all the layers that you want longer, you can either drag out or hit Alt and the square bracket. That is let me change this font. So just a reminder, this is the start of the layer. That's the end of the layer. I chose this one to make all of them snap to there because they were 10 seconds. We added 5 seconds, and that's just a fast way of having your layers all line up like such. So it's come along very nicely. Don't forget about the type and, that as well. I really like the motion you've got with your astronaut, nice and subtle. And lastly, let's check this out, because that's what class is all about. I've got nothing selected. I'm going to click and click again and click one more time. So I've got 3 path points. I'm going to turn off my fill. I'm going to turn on a stroke. Clearly make it thinner. And make it a little bit off-white. We can even put this below the astronaut. Okay, so we've got this happening. Now, I want to use nulls and have this parented to the astronaut's torso, which is labeled right around here somewhere. And I'll have the other one parented to the shuttle body. There it is. Okay, so here's what we do. To do that, as we've learned before, we've got our path selected. I'm going to click on the word path for that line. And I'm going to go Window, Create Nulls From Paths. And what I want, points follow nulls. And I close the window. I've now got a null here, there, and there, which is awesome. So this is selected. You see it highlighted. That's the astronaut body. This will all make sense in a second. This is the middle. This is the shuttle. Okay. So, when these nulls move, the paths move with it. I'll show you what I mean. See that? Path point moves with the null. So, all I have to do now, the null for the point on the astronaut's body, I'm going to parent to the torso of the astronaut. So as the astronaut wiggles in space, that path point moves with him. The shuttle null, I'm going to parent to the original shuttle that you drew. And now you've got that happening. It's moving along with it. Hooray. Now we do the fun stuff. Like we could add, here's the chord. We could do, ooh, I've got it. Let's try add wiggle paths. And look at that. It's already doing something. That's fun. So if you go, okay, I like wiggle paths. Well, you just go into here and you adjust how much you want. Instead of corner, I'm going to do smooth. I'm going to knock the detail down a little bit. Yeah, we don't want too many waves in there. So we'll give it just a little bit less detail. Size, we don't want it to be too wild, but enough to be visible. Now, that's looking a little bit better. Wiggles per second, let's knock that down to 1. So it's a little bit slower because it's outer space. See that? Boom. Instant interest. And since we already did wiggle paths, let's throw a turbulent displace on it now and see what happens. So I'm going to do a little bit here and a little bit there. And evolution, I'm going to Alt-click on that stopwatch. And I'll do time, asterisk, let's try 150. I'm just making up numbers here. Let's see how that looks. See, not bad. Not bad at all. So, like such. And, just to show you a little bit, because this is what Lab's all about, pushing your ideas. You don't have to be committed to any of these. I'm just, showing you. So, we've got a chord that we drew with our shape layer. I'm going to twirl down the stroke. I'm going to click on dashes. Boom. Now we've got that happening. You could increase or decrease them. And the dashes animate along with it. The reason I like the dashes is it ties in with the positive and negative space you've already got going on. Like such. See? Adds a little bit of playfulness to it. And there you go. You added some extra elements and it just pushes it that much more because it's got something else to anchor it to it. And that's why I said it's better to do the chord in here, because we can do all these quick and easy fun little things to it. Like such. Any other questions, Peter? Yeah, no problem at all. If anyone else has something for me to look at after Julia's, just let me know in the chat and I will check Google Drive for it. There we go. That's looking good. I like your puppet pinning. Now, let's take a look. Watch these spikes. They're getting trimmed off a little bit. So let's open this up. Some more. Save. Okay. I'm clicking here so I can see my alpha. It's happening in there too. It's probably in the body. I just clicked on continuously raster. There's your pins. Now, I'm going to click on Show Mesh because I think your mesh is not picking up that top part. So I clicked up here, Show Mesh. See what's going on here? If I expand this a little bit, let's try adding a pin and seeing if that gives you more mesh. Nope. Okay, so let's up the density a little bit. It is an issue with the puppet pin density. Okay, so now we've got them, but that's way too much. The density was fine. I'm going to change the expansion. I'm going to go a little bit more than that. Now I'm mousing over it to see the changes. Like such. Let's try, just be on the safe side. Let's do. There we go. So I increased the expansion on your puppet pins. Those extra pins I added caused some issues. That's why I did a save as, so I don't damage your file. Let's try that again. I'm not going to add any pins. Expansion needs to go up a bit. Your motion's working, but now the pins are getting lost. I mean, those scales. And that is... my extra pins helped it, but... yeah, it's too fine a detail. for some of those. I can't think of a way of getting this to work without adding those extra pins. Now let's look at your wing. I would probably just hide those spikes. Okay, so first off, wing 3D enabled. Great, it's parented to the body, but it's not moving with the body because of the puppet pinning happening. So that's a fast fix with position. I'm hitting U to see my keyframes. I'm just adding position in where I need to. And then it's just a matter of the up and the down. So I just look in relation to where it is. It's meeting up with that dot a little bit. So that's going to be my reference. Like such. Even probably go down a little bit. I'm hitting my previous and next to make sure that I don't add unwanted keyframes. That's good. I'm also going to move it a touch to the right. That helps out a lot. Like that. Now it's going to the body. Hide the spikes. Some of these dots are leaving the body. So just watch out for that. You could mask them, or I'm going to hit Command D, duplicate the body, put it above the scales, and use that duplicate as an alpha matte. Now those scales are all staying on the body. Oh, I did that on the wrong layer. So let's do the same thing. Duplicate the body, put it above the scales, on the scales, go to my modes, use my track matte, alpha matte. There we go. Now it's all working good. And now we're going to work on the wing flap. So I hit R, you're already 3D enabled. And we'll take a look at that. Should I go into Illustrator and merge the spikes on the body part of the dragon? Would that help? I don't think that would help. I'm not sure. Because you've already pre-composed the whole body. It's just such fine detail that the pins are missing it. So I would not even bother. You know, I'd focus on the motion. So here, nope. Nope. Okay. You can even try and get a little fancy and add it out a little bit. And it's all in how much you want the wings to move. And obviously, easy ease them. It's looking good. We go back here. And the head cannot be parented to the body, but we can parent the head to the wing. I'm gonna unlock this, and I'll show you what I mean. So now, let's 3D enable that. Make it, nope. Now it's moving way too much. Okay, I'm going to put the anchor point for the head. Let's solo that. Let's put the anchor point here. Turn off solo. Okay, I'm not going to parent it to that, but I can see where those keyframes are and line up with those, because the head needs to move less than the wing. That's what was causing that. So I should also do Shift R for rotate. In case we need to rotate it too. Let's take a look. Alright, so that's on. Hit my next. Move it up a little bit. You could zoom in for more accuracy. And I'm also going to put the head above the body. There we go. Good. Now that's moving. If I parent this jaw to the head, let's see if that works out for us. Now they're all moving together, and we can fix that a little bit with rotation. Like such. But first, I should have moved the anchor point to where it needs to be. But I didn't move anything, so we're good. Even open it up a little bit if you wanted to. Like such. Easy ease those by right-clicking, hovering over them. And there you have it. It's looking pretty nice. Hopefully that answers some of your questions. And you'll have that for reference. Any other questions you have? And again, merging the spikes will not help because they're just such a fine detail. The only thing that would do it is adding extra pins. Then you'd have to line them up with all the other ones, so, you know. And while I'm waiting to hear back from you, I'm going to try something real quick. Okay. I'm going to walk through this and show you what I mean. Let's pretend this is a blade of grass. And I'll turn the stroke off. And I'm going to put CC Bender onto it. Now, remember, whenever you see these crosshairs, top, here's the top. So I just click once, base, click once, like that. Now, the effect does the rest for me. And I could always just click here so I don't see the path. Okay? There's other options for it, like such. There you go. All right. So that's how Bender works. Assign the top and the base. I am going to see what happens if I put Bender on the wing, if it works on a 3D layer. Let me solo that. So I'm going to say the base would be here where it meets the body, and the tip would be there. And let's see what happens. Now we're getting some curve to the wing that adds an extra level of complexity. So I'm going to hit U for my keyframes, and I'm going to click on the amount here. So if I hit U again, I can now see where Bender is. So if I go here and I bend it this direction, let's see how that looks. Get a little bit of wind draft, and then when I go here, we could bend it in the opposite direction. I'll zero that out. See how now it's less rigid? Let's try Boxer. Give it some of that flapping look. Now let's try Marilyn will work. Nope. We'll stick with the original bend. Now see how that looks in the overall animation. Gives the wing a little bit more volume when you do that. All right, so I'm reading your chat. 1 second. Okay, so I'll take a look at that. Maybe I'm bending this in the wrong direction. It's like that. And then we can go a little bit past it, create some drag. Let's try that out. See, like that, it goes a little bit past it and then back up. I think that works a little bit better. See, it's that extra little whoosh on the down that changes the whole feel of the animation. You could have it even go a little bit past. A little bit of overshoot. Let's easy ease that and see the difference. See, that little bit of delay is what gives it some weight and some more natural motion. So the final assignment is due the 15th. All right. And I think I would rather have everyone have one solid animation than two rushed animations. Okay. So I'm going to send out a text. I'm going to send out an email after this. Just focus on one. Like if you're going to do the, animation you have for the title with the dragon, only work on that, but have it be superb. Okay. I don't think you guys have the time to work on two, just because of other teachers' assignments and other things going on. So I'm going to simplify it and just have everyone do one. All right, there we go. So everyone's got the update. Only do one. Focus on one. Knock it out of the park, and that'll make it easier for everybody. So, any other questions? But again, pay attention to every element that you're animating, and I want your best work. And I'm going to place the ink inside here for anybody who wants to mess around with it. The reason this will not work as an alpha matte is because they're not transparent. Like I said, Luma matte or a Luma Invert matte, but it will not work as an alpha matte because there's no transparency. So I've got the file on top. What I want revealed is below it. You could always click the eyeball icon and line up your stuff that way. All I have to do is remember, this is above the video. What's going to be used is the matte. the layer below. Make sure you're in your modes. These are your switches. I click toggle switches and modes. And I'm going to do either a Luma matte or a Luma Invert matte. You won't be able to see this because I did black text because I'm a yo-yo. I'm going to put that below. Okay, so right now what this will do is this will remove the type. So that's a transition off. If I choose this to Luma Invert, now it will have it come on like such. There you go. And you can always speed it up or slow it down simply by clicking on the video file, right click, time stretch. And here's the important thing. This clip is 10 seconds long. Watch what happens if I do stretch factor 200. Now the clip is 20 seconds long. That means it's half speed. It's twice as slow. So if I want to go twice as fast, I go to 50 and now it's 5 seconds. Remember, 100 is normal speed. So at double speed, it's half the length. See the difference? Just like that. And let's kick this up a notch because that's what lab time's all about. Let's throw a texture in here. So I want the grunge texture to be through my text with the alpha matte, with the ink being a Luma Invert matte. All right. So I'm going to turn off this matte. I'm going to hide this. So first things first, I'm going to use my text as an alpha matte with the grunge above it. Oh, no one called me out on it. Text above. Now the grunge below. Alpha matte. There's my grunge. And I can scale it or move it around to get the interest I want. Let's say that. Let's say I fall in love with this and I say, that's amazing. You know, and let's throw a ramp on this just for the fun of it. And we'll do a radial ramp, why not? Okay, and let's change the white to a dark red. All right, now we're getting somewhere. So, remember, mattes are one layer revealing one layer. I have to take my text and my grunge and pre-compose them. Move all attributes. Hit OK. Now I have one layer. Now I can use this as a Luma Invert. And as it animates on, I have the texture as well. Let's take it one step further. What if this title I give a blending mode to? See, now we've got that happening. Now we've got the title, the texture, the animation, plus the blending mode. And there's plenty to choose from. And each one will have its own look and feel for what it does. That's the fun of blending modes. Like such. And if you say, well, that's a little bit less legible, well, I right-clicked. Let's try a blending mode, not blending mode, layer style. Let's try drop shadow. And we're getting a little bit of the drop shadow helping us out. And then lastly, just for the fun of it, let's see what bevel and emboss looks like on that. So I right-clicked again, layer style, bevel and emboss. And let's do, pull that down. We'll just mess around with that. And not going to soften that. Let's try something fun here. So instead of screen, let's try and change the blending mode on your bevel and emboss to get a different look. And you could also change the opacity of it. So right there, you've got a bit more interest. Probably also duplicate this gradient, put it above. Change the blend mode on that as well. And you get a completely different look as well. And this would work with images as well, instead of just solid colors. So that's just showing you a little bit of fun with type. You know, texturing, beveling, drop shadows, using video as mats. You know, possibilities are endless. So I see no more questions, and you've all got access to these if you want to play around with them. So I hope you all have a great weekend. If you've got any questions or concerns, reach out to me and let me know. And like I said, focus on one animation, solid animation, not two. So make sure Parker hears about that as well. And I hope everyone has a great weekend. Contact me if you've got any more questions or concerns.